Hey beauties, welcome to Beauty Defines podcast. Today I'm going to discuss femininity and ways to unlock your feminine energy. Tapping into your femininity does not happen overnight. Some of us have learned the art of femininity, and some of us are just discovering how to apply it to our daily lives. Sure, you can look and dress the part and not be the part. Similar to masculinity, some men dress like men and act like it until you get to know them and realize this is not the masculine energy that I need in my life. The major step in unlocking your feminine energy is to work on the inner qualities. I believe it's important to work from the inside out. So here are some ways to increase your feminine energy and to unlock it within. So one of the first ways is to heal. Heal that little girl inside of you. If you need a therapist and can afford one, get a therapist. If you need prayer, spend more time reading the word and pray. Heal your mental state. Cry it out if you have to. Get a journal. Talk to a loved one. Talk to someone that you trust. At some point, I will be offering coaching sessions and mentoring sessions to my audience through Beauty Defined, and I'll make myself available for a period of time by phone or video chat. If you're interested, leave me some voice messages below or email me. The reason I find this important is because so many of us have no one to confide in, unfortunately. Mentality, emotional intelligence. Your mentality will be the most challenging thing to change and elevate on your journey to femininity. Learn to embrace femininity. Our society has stigmatized femininity as being weak. In reality, you can use your feminine energy and even at times masculine energy in certain cases to your own advantage to get what you want and need in this life. Beauties, another important aspect to becoming emotionally intelligent is to trust your intuition. Learn to acknowledge your feelings. If someone you trust asks you how you feel, tell them. If someone asks you if you're upset and you aren't upset, make it be known. Something that I find annoying is when someone says, "Are you angry?" How do you know I'm angry? Did I tell you I was angry, or are you just being biased? It's okay to acknowledge your feelings. Men and women are emotional alike, but we express our emotions differently, and society has double standards when we express ourselves. Just learn to be emotionally intelligent in certain environments. The next thing is vulnerability. It's important to learn how to be vulnerable. I was talking to one of my male friends about a week ago, and I talked to him about feminine energy and femininity. And to my surprise, he explained femininity to me before I could even elaborate. I made the assumption that he would not understand femininity because he's a man. And he said, there are several components to being feminine, and one of the most important components is vulnerability. And he said, when I say vulnerability, I don't mean it in a weak sense. A woman being vulnerable doesn't mean that she's weak, but a man must provide a woman with a reason to be vulnerable. This means he has given her a reason to trust him, and he protects her. When a woman is unprotected and she doesn't feel safe, it's going to be very hard for her to be vulnerable. Therefore, her guards will be up and she will exude masculine traits. That's why some women, you look at them in their relationships, they're more vulnerable than other women because the man has provided a space for her to be vulnerable, whether it's through financial security, whether it's they live in a better community, a safer community, whether it's the man actually providing and protecting for his children. He's given her some sort of reason to feel that it's okay for me to be vulnerable and fall back. I was blown away. I couldn't believe that a man could break this down, at least not this aspect of femininity. Beauties, only certain people will create an inviting space for you to prosper in your femininity. And if you're in a relationship where you cannot be feminine and be vulnerable, you may want to reevaluate the relationship. What is causing you to not be vulnerable? Is it fear? Is it you? Or is it him? Is he masculine and providing you with a heavenly space? You see, if he wants an angel, he must first create a heaven for you to be that angel. What my friend told me is very true. I feel more feminine around certain men than other men. I generally feel safer and protected around men that are more masculine. It's energy, it's aroma. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. And the right man will not abuse and exploit your vulnerability. The next component is communication. Become a better listener. I promise, if you spend more time listening to understand rather than to respond, your communication skills will increase. Also, this will increase your ability to read people. As a feminine woman, we need as much discernment as we can possibly have when it comes to our everyday interactions, especially in relationships with men. If you listen close enough, people will tell you who they are. And eventually, when they tell you who they are, believe them the first time, because words matter. Communicate in a way that will make you powerful and effective. Don't be afraid to express yourself. The next tip is to get some rest. Beauties, just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you're resting. Try to relax. Drink some tea or read something encouraging before bed. Take time to unwind. What's keeping you up at night? Do you know what is causing you to toss and turn? Sometimes we have to be our own therapist, our own best friend. Learn to journal your thoughts and anything that causes you anxiety. Know your trigger points. Know your trauma. Beauties, also know that some things are out of your control. Control what you can and let go of what you cannot control. Try not to think of the things that you cannot control every day. Getting rest will increase your energy and help you to feel renewed and refreshed the next day. The next thing is to accept help. Beauties, if a man wants to help you, let him, especially if he doesn't have the wrong intentions. Use discernment and make sure you are safe and he actually has the right intentions. Now, I struggled with accepting help because I used to feel like I don't want to be a burden, even if someone offers to help me. And I thought about it and said, why would they think you're a burden if they're the one offering to help you? Whether it's a man or a woman. If you're struggling to carry something heavy and he says, hey, can I help you? Do you need help with that? Even if it's a random guy walking down the street or the person you're in a relationship with. I used to say, no, I got it, because I don't want to feel like I'm a burden. But say, sure, thank you. And again, use precaution. But part of being feminine is accepting help. And know when you need help and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're at the grocery store, for example, and you have to reach something and it's too high for you to reach, and a random guy is walking down the aisle, ask him if he could reach it for you. If he's tall, of course. Hey, can you help me? Oh, sure. I've never had a man tell me no. And once he says, sure, I'm like, thank you so much, sir. And I smile. They're like, oh, you're welcome. And he feels important that moment. Okay, the next tip is to increase your peace. What brings you peace? Do you have an answer to that question? Whatever it is, do more of it and be unapologetic. You need to learn to put yourself first. Your peace is your responsibility. I've learned that no one will prioritize my peace until I do. When you find true peace, you will find yourself smiling more. And this leads me to my next point, mannerism. Have manners. Don't be afraid to smile. If someone smiles at you, smile in return. A smile is welcoming and inviting. Of course, there will be environments that you should not smile in because you must protect yourself. But smile often when you can. I remember years ago, many years ago, I did not smile often. It was just the way my face was set up. And beauties, you know when you're minding your own business and a man interrupts you out of nowhere and says, "Can you smile?" I used to get that, and I would get annoyed, and I would think to myself, how can a stranger feel so comfortable to tell me to smile? I could make an entire podcast on how rude I actually think that is, but I digress. Nowadays, I smile more because I like to do so. And guess what? Now I get the question, why are you always smiling? See, beauties, you can't please everyone. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. But whenever the opportunity presents itself, smile for yourself. Smiling shows that you're at peace and you're happy with yourself. Say please and thank you, excuse me, etc. Believe me, people notice. I cannot count how many people would tell me, "You must have been raised well because you have manners." All throughout college and my career, people would tell me how respectful I am towards my elders, towards people. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything or to make it seem as if I'm perfect. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that people are always watching you. And treat others the way you would like to be treated. Appreciate the people in your life. Appreciate the people that help you. Beauties, I hope you learn more about how to unlock your feminine energy by elevating your inner qualities. Stay tuned for my next podcast on unlocking your physical feminine energy. In other words, how to use your physical qualities to increase your feminine vibrations. I love interacting with my audience. Please email me at beautydefine139@gmail.com if you have any questions about self-development, suggested topics, or if you just want to say hello. As always, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.